So, Red Dead Redemption 2, one of the very best games that ever was created, and it's definitely my favorite game, and it was such a favorite game of mine that I've created hundreds of videos about it, and I will link you to my playlist now if you were interested in watching some of that content. And if you have never played Red Dead Redemption 2, please do yourself a favor and get through it. Now, I ask you to have some patience at the beginning of this game if you are new to this game, because you need to spend 10 or 20 hours first getting through the very first chapter, and then once you're through that, you will launch into a world and a game like no other. The storyline, the gameplay, the graphics, the whole thing about this game is all encompassing, and there is no wonder that the game sales still on this game are so very high. This game has been in the top 10 or 20 list of the most popular games for years now. Remember, this game was released in 2019, and if you look here on Steam, you will see that 25,000 plus people are rating this overwhelmingly positive. And I agree, of course, this is one of the very best games released by any developer, publisher ever in the history of gaming. I mean, aside from, I suppose, maybe GTA 5, and I just hope that Rockstar can keep up with this kind of high value, high production gaming, because it's just riveting and it's amazing. It's amazing, truly amazing that, you know, a developer can pull this off, because there's so many things with this. There's so many characters, there's so many nuances in this game. It's overwhelming almost, you know, and it's blown me away. Now, I initially played Red Dead Redemption 2 and didn't like it because I didn't give it a chance. And I got back to it, thank goodness, I think maybe a half a year or a year later, and really dove into it because people were saying, you know, you really got to give this game a shot and try it and make sure you try it. So now I'm telling you, if you haven't tried it, or maybe you did try it and gave up on it, try it again. Well, that was a very long introduction to really what this video is all about, and that's John Marston. What do you think of his character? Do you think maybe that John Marston is kind of emasculated when it comes to Arthur Morgan's character, for example? Now, John Marston's character's arc in Red Dead Redemption 2 does reveal a very different side of him compared to the first game, right? So I think some people kind of feel like John was a bit of a cop-out, and there's going to be spoilers, by the way, in this video, so if you don't want to hear them, don't listen any more than this. You switch from, at the beginning of the game, from Arthur Morgan, who's a pretty hardcore, still caring outlaw, well-rounded character, but pretty rough around the edges, right? Which is, you know, kind of what you'd expect, right? Then you go from playing through that character, Arthur, into John, and it's kind of like a different game almost in some respects, because what John does is, you know, get married and settle down, and, you know, in some cases, some people would say maybe all of that has emasculated him, but there's no question about it. John Marston was nothing in comparison to Arthur Morgan. John is not going to fill Arthur's boots in any respect, and he can't, right? Because he has to conform to social norms, and I'm not going to get into all of that, but I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is a bit of a representation of to what has happened to men today, because we are today nothing in comparison to what our fathers, our grandfathers, and certainly what our great-grandfathers were pale comparisons as true men And I think the game has done a great job at representing that. You've gone from strong characters, right? I mean, we're talking about a game here, right? Crazy people overall, they all were. They were in a gang, you know, but that was the way it was back in the Wild West, right? It was kind of like the taming of the Wild West, and I suppose in some respects, the taming of men through social norms. You see that in this game, and you see it, of course, in real life today. And I suppose, you know, that's why some people relate to this game, and, you know, it is heartfelt. And when Arthur passes away in this game, it is very traumatic. Certainly, I was very shocked that it happened. And, you know, to play Arthur for so long, and then at the end of it to have to play John, was a bit of a disappointment. Now, one thing that I hope doesn't happen to Red Dead Redemption 3 is that Rockstar kind of bows down to social pressures and releases a game that is wishy-washy and is all woke and all the rest of it, because if it is, I will not be playing it. This isn't Cyberpunk 2077. This isn't another game. This is Red Dead Redemption. I want to play this game as a strong male character back in the day, back in the Wild West. Now, I don't know where they're going to take Red Dead Redemption 3, but I'm kind of hoping that's the direction they will take it in. Hopefully, maybe they'll go with Arthur Morgan, Roger Clark being the voice actor, maybe in his 20s, can go back through how he grew up with his parents and all of that. Now, please let us know what you think about John Marston's character in comparison to Arthur Morgan. Well, I'm Rodney Reynolds, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Remember to smash that notification bell. That's important. Also, subscribe, like, and share. Consider becoming a Patreon, and you might also want to pick up. And unfortunately, the motherboard tray is not removable t-shirt, and I will see you in the next one.
It would make me very happy if you would...
We've lived a lot of lives.
Let's just live this one from now on. You and me, Jack, a family, by law.
John, I didn't know it mattered to you.
It didn't. But now it does. If you think this is dumb, I'm sorry.
Shut up, you silly man, and kiss me.